Hey, it's me again. So I just handle my business at the MLS office. I got everything. So I wanted to come back at y'all for another video. And I'm gonna call this one, I invest in real estate because I'm lazy. I remember when I first met my broker at the brokerage I'm at now. And it's crazy too, because your broker is basically like your boss, you know, your manager, however you want to call it. But I told him straight up, I got into this game because I'm lazy. And that ain't something you want to tell your boss, but I'm all for being honest. Like, that's really why I devote my life to real estate investing. Well, not my whole life. My life is bigger than real estate. But in terms of my business life, my business world, I put most of my time and effort into investing because honestly, I'm lazy. And like, I'll give you a little background. So I actually used to work at Balo. I worked at a grocery store chain for about 2 years. And when I worked there, I made $150 a week or $600 a month. I did everything from, I was in a deli, I was a cashier, but the last thing I did was I was an overnight stalker. And I feel like they did me kind of wrong at my first store. They put me in the frozen food. They know I didn't want to be in frozen food, but they asked me to do it for one night because I was supposed to be substituting for a guy who, he usually does the frozen food, but he wasn't there that day. So he was an older guy. Anyway, I did frozen food and I killed it. So I was faster than the dude who was trained to do it. So what they did was they switched us and they let him stock in my place, and I did frozen in his place. But I hated it, man. I'm talking about every night. Well, I say morning because since I work night shift, our shifts ended in the morning. So every morning, 6 in the morning, my nose running. I'm sneezing, I'm coughing, because the freezer is like, what do they keep that freezer, like 0 degrees or 10 degrees? And you would have to like, well, first off, they wanted you to keep the freezer organized. So at some point every night you spending at least 20 minutes at a time in this 0 below environment, because you organizing and straightening out the freezer. And not only that, but you if you familiar with the grocery store, you know the term blocking, which is when you bring everything to the front of the aisle to look uniform and neat. You blocking the frozen food section, you literally is like touching ice popsicles and ice cream, and you like stocking it, like the shit was just cold, man. And they ain't provide me with the gloves I needed, and it was just a lot. So long story short, I didn't really like the job, right? So, but I got paid. I needed money, so they was paying me $150 a month, $150 a week, $600 a month, and I ain't had no other means of income. So hey, what can you do? You gonna keep on working and taking the money. So what I was doing was I was saving up my money, and since it was night shift, we could listen to whatever we wanted in our earbuds, while everybody else was listening to rap, reggae, gospel, whatever music they like to listen to. I was listening to Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week. These like real estate investing type things is what I was listening to, and as a result, I was saving my money from working at the same time. So when I quit that job, I had, you know, some money saved up, and that's when I bought my first investment property, right? With the money I made working at Balo. So I don't got nothing bad to say about it, because sometimes you just gotta hustle and get to that point where you can buy your assets. Because, you know, entrepreneurs will tell you that entrepreneurship is the way, and it is. But you have to get there a lot of times from 9 to 5 money to get you there. Like, that's just the reality of it. So in essence, they're both important. So anyway, like the point I'm trying to get to was, I remember when I got my first check or payment, I guess you can say, rent money from my first property. I remember like it was yesterday, and it was crazy because my first property, the rent I charged was $600 a month. The same exact thing that I made at Bilo. So I was like, dang, I'm making the exact same amount of money, but instead of slaving and doing all this, cleaning the freezer and, cleaning the gook off the side of the chicken fryer machine when I worked in the deli, instead of doing all that bullshit, now I'm not doing all that bullshit, and I'm still making the same amount of money. So it's like, after I found that out, like, that just messed up my head. Like, that messed up everything for me. Because I'm like, dang, like, my whole life I was told, go get a job, go get a job, go get a job. And I'm still being told go get a job, because I don't have no 9 to 5. Like I said, I just sell real estate and I'm an investor. So my whole life, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job. And not saying that, my parents was telling me that, because honestly, like, I always wanted to work when I was young. So nobody ever had to tell me that, but society tells you that, don't no girl want no broke boy. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta get your bag. You gotta get that money some kind of way. So for us, for me, people who look like me, people who from where I'm from, the only way we usually know how to get money is to go get a job. Like, that's all we know, or to go the illegal route, but it's just one of them two options. There was no stock market. There was no real estate investing. There was no bond market. Like, I didn't know about none of that stuff. So once I saw every month that same check hitting that I used to slave for, it messed my mind up. And from then on, I knew, okay, no more job. Like, don't even talk to me about a job. I don't even want to hear that. All I know is, if I can somehow get my hands on this property, I'm going to be able to make that same amount of money that I used to make from the job. And if I can get another property, that's double. If I can get my hands on another property, that's triple. If I can do another one, that's quadruple. And it's just going to keep on going up. If you can get your hands on 30 units, it's 30 days out the month. In essence, that's a check for every day of your existence. It's akin to the Publishers Clearinghouse. That's how I think at this point in time. So I say that to say, the real reason why I love real estate investing is because it gives you a chance to be lazy without nobody calling you on it. Because at the end of the day, if you can somehow figure out a way to bring in enough money to survive, can't nobody ever call you, lazy, or say that you don't have drive, or whatever these things that they want to say about you, because you're bringing in money. See, this is one thing I figured out. That guy, that cliche guy who sits on his baby mama couch and smoke weed all day while playing Xbox, and you know how, like, everybody talks down on this guy? Well, in essence, this guy is on to something. This guy realized that working really ain't the way. But the thing is, people gonna clown him, because what he hasn't figured out was, you still have to figure out a way to get your hands on some resources. Now, you right in that working and enslaving 9 to 5 ain't the way, but you wrong in thinking that just sitting on your baby mama couch smoking weed playing Xbox is the way. Like, you halfway in between figuring it out. You can sit on the couch and play Xbox and do what you do, but you still have to figure out a way to bring something in. And that's called real estate investing. In my world. In somebody else's world, it may be selling something on eBay, or hosting seminars, or selling used cars, whatever. But in my world, it's real estate investing, because it's simple. It's a simple concept. If you can acquire a property, somebody gonna rent it from you, because you always gonna have half usually half of the people in this world are renting and half of the people in this world are buying, give or take. Well, I ain't gonna say this world, I'll say this country. Give or take, you gonna have like 48% of people renting where 52% own, or the numbers may be vice versa. But usually it's gonna be kind of like half and half. So in essence, it's always gonna be half the population is gonna be there, willing, ready, and able to rent from you, as long as you have the asset. So for me, it only makes sense to buy real estate property if you like myself don't want to have to work your whole life. Like, my mind already gone. Like, I'm done with that work shit. Like, it's over with. I be trying to get myself into selling more real estate, but that to me kind of feel like work too. So that's why I do it, but it's not like a big focus of mine. Even though I'm trying to get there, but I just ain't there yet. Because like I say, my mind got messed up. But anyway, straight. But yeah, that's kind of, I'm gonna keep this video short. But yeah, I just want to put it out there to y'all who may think, who may be in that place mentally where maybe you've been called lazy, or you feel like you're lazy, or you're moving like you're lazy. I'm gonna say I was there, and I can relate to that, and I feel like that's not wrong, but you still have to figure out a way to get your hand on some assets though. That way you can really live that life that you want to live, but still not be in poverty at the same time too. You got to find that balance. Nobody want a slave for nobody else, but don't nobody want to be in poverty either. So you got to find that balance. And for me, real estate investing is a good way to balance the two out. Because really, like, one of these videos, I'm going to take you through a day of mine. And you're going to be like, really? Like, you look like a lazy bum, right? Like, but as long as I own property, you can't say I'm a lazy bum. You can't do it. Because at the end of the day, if Mark Zuckerberg decided to take the next 2 years off, ain't nobody gonna call him a lazy bum, because he has that asset Facebook. They're just gonna say he's on extended vacation. So it's just all in, it's like a mental thing. It's just all in how people perceive what you're doing and how you perceive what you're doing. You know? It's just like Tim Ferriss said in 4 Hour Workweek, less is not laziness. So it's just a mindset that most people have. So once you get out of that mindset, you can concentrate on what's important to you. For me, what's important is self-discovery, freedom, you know, being able to travel, move about the city. Like, give you an example. Damn, how do I turn this around? Oh, dang.